Hello and welcome to Redbud. We're going to do some honey extraction today. That was a request by several people asked me how I harvested my honey on my hives. So I've got 6 frames that I'm going to extract the honey from. We're doing food products, so we've got to kind of treat it as such. So with all our buckets, I give them a rinse down with tap water, and then kind of give them a scrubbing with water bleach mix. Make sure that they're perfectly clean. Then rinse them out with tap water again, and then dry them off. So the buckets are prepared for receiving the honey. All our instruments are clean and washed. Some of them rinsed down with that bleach water mix again. So that's our food preparation station here on a plastic table, and let's get started. All right, so what does a frame of honey look like? It looks kind of like this. The vast majority of the frames are capped, so that's got honey in it, and the bees don't cap the honey until they've extracted some moisture out of it. So, it's all right that a few of these cells aren't capped. They may have honey in it, or they may be empty. If they've got honey in it, it's probably have a moisture content that's okay to harvest. So, this is what we've got to work with straight out of the hive. What we'll do is come along with the knife, kind of cut off the cap, and then the honey will start flowing. We'll get a spatula and kind of scrape down the wax and get that into our bucket. So it'll be a bucket of honey wax mixture. All right, so what I do is I come through with a knife and just kind of cut the top caps off of the honey with just a little sawing motion, and you'll see that the honey starts flowing out. All right, there we go. All right. So these cells with the dark spots in them, what that is it's either it's pollen, or it's cells with honey and pollen. So what I do is I come through, and here is my favorite part. This just is an avalanche of honey. So I scrape down with a spatula, and I get the wax and honey. Alright, so that's one side. I spin it around, and I've got the other side to do. right, so there's the bucket of honey and wax. Let me lift this up. Oh my goodness, I think that's probably about 20 pounds of honey. I have 6 frames. So yeah, so the next step is filtering it. So now it's a matter of dipping the wax honey mixture and putting it through the 2-stage strainer. So I've got to apologize. I actually didn't record me bottling up the honey, but it's a pretty simple process. Basically, take the jar, put a funnel, and I use a ladle and dip that into the honey and pour that through the funnel and into the jar and fill up the jar. I've got a new bucket with a honey gate, and the honey gate kind of allows me to pour directly from the bucket without using the ladle. I'm probably going to try that next time. I didn't have the confidence enough to use it this time. So here's the honey, and I think this is thicker honey than my previous harvest, this jar didn't have enough honey to fill this one up, so we're going to use this for ourselves. Just to go over the filtering again, I've got to clean this up. This is some wax left over, but this is a 2-stage filter. It's got a more coarse screen, stainless steel screen on the top, and a very, very fine screen on the bottom. So basically I just ladle the honey and comb onto the top and let the honey drain through, and then I scoop out the wax comb and keep that to the side while it drips into the bucket. And actually I do that twice, so I'm kind of quadruple filtering the honey to kind of lower the wax out. This is some of the wax comb. You can see it's very flaky on occasion. There's some comb that's left kind of in a big state, and this comb, this wax, is left over after the bees have gone through it. I set this outside, and the bees kind of just go through it, and they pick out their honey, and they return that to their hive, and they store that again, or they consume it when they need it. And what I do with this wax is that I melt this down into a crock pot and filter that to get out some of the impurities. Like here's a big clump of propolis, which is kind of bee glue that they make. So I filter the wax and use the wax either as foundation of new comb in the hive, or I can give that to or sell that to a candle maker, or cosmetic companies. They'll use that in products. So basically everything in the hive gets used, the honey, comb, propolis even. So that's the process. Here's the honey. I've got a start make up labels, but most of this honey, is going to family and friends. So hopefully I'll build up the number of hives and increase my harvest so that I can eventually sell the honey. Which, when you sell honey, it has a whole bunch of other county, state, and government regulations before you're able to sell it. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later.